Hello, sensitive sisters. Welcome to Highly Sensitive Healing. My name is Jessie Joy, and in today's video, we're diving deep into a big topic. We're talking all about anxiety, and this is a big struggle for us as sensitive women, so I want to share with you how I completely healed not only my intense levels of anxiety, but also my uncontrollable panic attacks. Yes, you heard me correctly. I was able to completely resolve and heal my anxiety and panic attacks as a highly sensitive and empathic woman, which means that this is possible for you too. And I actually have a free video course on how to heal and find balance as a sensitive woman. And in the course, I go deep into the topic of anxiety, what anxiety is, where it comes from, and what you can do to resolve it completely. So if anxiety or panic have felt all-consuming and virtually inescapable for you, go click the free video course link in the description right below this video and empower yourself with the truth about anxiety and how to overcome it for good. Now, there's a lot of controversy about this topic. Some say that it's a mental health disorder. Some say it's a symptom of disease. And some even dare to say that it's a complete fabrication and it's not real and it's all in your head. Well, first of all, I want you to know that it's not all in your head. Anxiety is very, very real. And as a sensitive person, it's experienced in every area of your being, mentally, emotionally, and physically. It's actually said that more than 30% of the population suffer with intensive levels of anxiety. So for you watching this video experiencing anxiety, I want you to know that you're not alone. I've been there and I understand you and I see you. I used to suffer from severe anxiety and uncontrollable panic attacks. So I know firsthand what you're experiencing. But even more importantly, I want you to know that there's hope. Anxiety is not a life sentence, and it's not something that you just have to deal with and live with and accept. You can live a completely balanced and calm and fulfilling life in alignment with your highly sensitive nature without the anxiety. And once you learn how and you put it all into perspective, the reasoning behind this becomes rather simplistic. Now, another important thing that you need to understand about anxiety is that it's not an illness. It's not a sickness that you just randomly picked up one day like the flu. It's not a virus. It's not a bacterial infection. It's not a disease or a disorder. Now, can anxiety accompany an illness? Sure. But is it caused by an illness? No. Anxiety is a behavioral condition. More simply put, anxiety is a learned behavior. Now, before you decide to throw stones at me in the comments for the blasphemy you believe I'm casting here, and before you totally write this off, just hear me out. Just like you weren't born knowing how to talk or walk, you weren't born knowing how to be anxious. Somewhere along the way, you were taught how to be anxious and what you should feel anxious about. So for example, if you had a caretaker or a person of influence in your life who was always worried or anxious or reacted to life circumstances with any level of panic or fear, you have learned how to be anxious through observation. You could have even learned how to be anxious from a friend or even through your favorite television show or the news or some form of education. And somewhere along the line during this learning process, anxiousness became normalized and validated for you. So not only did you observe it, but you learned to perceive it as a very natural way of being and living. So how does this happen exactly? Well, your brain, in all of its intelligence, observes others' behavior from a very, very young age. And through sensory input channels, it listens to what's being said and it sees how others are reacting to a certain situation. It processes and analyzes the situation, engages in a learning process, and then stores these associations and bits of information for future use. And as time goes on, the more you witnessed the same style of behavior and the more you were taught what to be fearful or anxious about, the more the association grew and the more you learned how to refine your anxious attachments. And this learned behavior of anxiety essentially became programmed into your subconscious mind to run on autopilot and influence your brain to react accordingly. Okay, so to simplify, when you learn something, say when you learn to walk or talk or drive, it starts as a conscious effort using your thinking brain. And then over time, with consistency and repetition, you get so skilled at these learned behaviors that you no longer need to consciously be thinking about them to learn them. And they get moved from the conscious thinking brain into the subconscious mind when they run on this automated program. When you first learned how to walk or talk or drive, you had to focus on how to do it. You needed repetition and consistency and time to learn. And then after this initial learning process takes place in the conscious thinking brain and it's essentially mastered, the new learned behavior gets moved into your subconscious brain to run on more of an efficient automation that doesn't require conscious thinking. Your brain is so intelligent and it's so efficient that it's trying to make life easier for you by taking away your need to consciously think about everything. And instead, when it recognizes a learned behavior that you've mastered that, becomes a pattern, it takes that learned behavioral pattern and moves it into the automated part of your mind, the subconscious program. And about 90% of our life is run by the subconscious. All of your habits, mental and emotional, and your learned beliefs and behaviors, and even certain bodily functions, they're all operated by programming in your subconscious mind. So simply put, anxiety becomes a habit. It becomes a learned behavior. But here's the great thing about this. Here's why there is hope and freedom available to you. You see, because anxiety is a learned behavior, it can be unlearned. You can break the habit of anxiety. You can unlearn how to be anxious. And you can teach yourself how to run a new non-anxious program. And that's exactly what I did. I completely healed my anxiety and my uncontrollable panic attacks by unlearning how to be anxious and by creating a new non-anxious program. Okay, so how does one do this? Well, there are 3 important steps that need to be addressed here. The first is that you need to release the beliefs and the negative emotional imprints and learned attachments to your anxiety. You need to peel away the mental and the emotional programming that taught you how to be anxious in the first place. And the second is that you need to interrupt the behavioral pattern of anxiety. As you peel away and heal the attachments to anxiety, that the learned behavior, so the thoughts and the feelings and the actions associated with your previous anxiety programming, will attempt to run as usual because they're used to running their anxious program. And they will still try to run the old anxious program. So you need to interrupt the pattern in a way that confuses the brain into stopping the anxious program and behavior. So you need to interrupt your brain in a way that stops the stress response and stops the anxious association. And then third, you need to start creating new non-anxious beliefs, emotional imprints, learning attachments, and behaviors. You need to stop the anxious behavior in its tracks and create new non-anxious patterning by consciously shifting your mind, emotions, and physical actions and behaviors into a brand new way of operating until this new program can be fully learned and adopted by your subconscious mind as your brand new non-anxious program. And while this may sound a bit complicated and even may appear like a lot of work, I assure you it's not. When you understand how the mind and the emotions influence the brain and the body through learning and subconscious habits, it's really quite a simple concept. And inside of my group coaching program, Unapologetically Sensitive Sisterhood, I include my anxiety relief kit, which gives you the exact process I followed to completely heal my anxiety and uncontrollable panic attacks despite my sensitive nature. Inside of the Anxiety Relief Kit, I show you how to unlearn your anxious behavior, interrupt the pattern of anxiety, and create new non-anxious mental and emotional habits and new associations. And when you watch my training videos and gain the knowledge and understanding about how it works, and you begin to apply it into your everyday life, you'll see that it doesn't take long at all to see incredible shifts taking place. You're breaking a habit and forming a new one. In fact, I use this process to stop my uncontrollable panic attacks within 2 weeks. And within a few months, I was 100% anxiety free. I'm living a balanced and calm life as a sensitive woman without the anxiety. So when you put your mind to it, you learn how to do it, you're consistent, and you have access to the exact process to help you be successful, success really becomes inevitable. And I want this for you. I want you to experience a balanced, sensitive life without the constant anxiety, because I know how awful it feels to struggle with debilitating anxiety and uncontrollable panic. It's all consuming. You feel it in your mind and your emotions and body, and the symptoms and sensations make it so uncomfortable. And it feels virtually inescapable most of the time, but it doesn't have to. All you have to do is unlearn it. And in my Anxiety Relief Kit, I've made this process incredibly simple to understand, very gentle to implement, it's very sensitive centered, and as easy as I possibly could make it for you, because I want this to be easy for you. Within the kit, I guide you through how to release the emotional imprints and attachments and learned behavior of anxiety. I show you how to interrupt the pattern of anxiety and stop the anxiety and panic in its tracks. And I teach you how to create new, non-anxious behaviors and habits that help you achieve the state of calm and anxiety-free living you've been so desperately seeking. This is how you say goodbye to the all-consuming anxiousness. This is how you break the habit of anxiety. And this is how you reclaim your right to calm and balance and anxiety-free living as a sensitive woman. Anxiety isn't something that you have to deal with or live with. It's not a life sentence. You can break free. And this is how you do it. And because I'm so invested in your healing and helping you experience the freedom that is available to you, when you click the link below, when you click that link below the video, as my gift to you, you get 75% off of the membership for life. So for a truly nominal fee, you get access to my life's work. You get the Anxiety Relief Kit to help you break free from anxiety for good. And you also get a massive list of member benefits, like a private Facebook group for sensitive women who are on this healing path together, and weekly live stream Q&As with me to ask all of your pressing questions, and a full member library of courses and meditations and trainings to support you in cultivating healing and balance as a sensitive woman, and so much more. So click that link below, read through the massive list of member benefits, and come join the group. I'm inside of the group ready to support you. And sensitive women from all around the world are here to support you too, and uplift you, and love on you, and help you along the way. So say yes to your healing and empowerment, and say yes to learning how to release the behavior of anxiety and finally find your way back to balance. Say yes to yourself, and let's do this together. I'm sending so much love your way, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.